Hey guys, and today we have a Leica Q2 Monochrom. Woohoo! And I say that like woohoo because, come on, who does this? Who comes out with a compact full-frame monochrome camera? Leica, of course, because Leica just, they're irreverent. They do things that just, probably don't make sense to a lot of people out there. So look, if you're a Leica shooter, you understand. You get it. If you're not going to get it. I'm sure that there are plenty of you that are going to be commenting on the price and being fixated only on the price of the camera, and well, so be it. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you want to save 10% on your website, use the code ADAM, A-D-A-M, at checkout, and you will get 10% off of your domain and your website. Leicas are handmade. They're made in limited quantities. They're made of exceptionally high quality materials, and there is a certain cult behind them. And if that is not for you, then that's fine, move on. However, if you are interested in this camera, it is really a lot of fun. Just being able to go out there and have a full frame camera with a 28mm f1.7 Summilux, which is an exceptionally good lens mated to it, and walk around with 47 megapixels of monochrome goodness is just incredible. This camera shares all of the goodness of the Leica Q. If you look on the back here, it's the same thing pretty much, other than the fact that it's in this beautiful flat black, matte black finish. It doesn't even smudge. They took away the logo. They changed the lettering to like this kind of like white and gray. So it really has a wonderful stealthy look. And again, if you're a street shooter, this is a terrific camera. I know lots of wedding photographers and event photographers that like to shoot in black and white. They like to shoot wide when they're at events or receptions or things of that sort. And to be able to have a 28mm lens that has exceptionally high ISO quality capabilities and has image stabilization, come on. Like check, 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 and so on and so forth. I have not done the actual testing, but I have seen other people out there that have tested the sensor at like ISO 25,000. They've compared it to the Q2 or the SL2, which is the same sensor with the color filter. So this has the same 47 megapixel no color filter. So they've taken that 25,000 megapixel file, 25,000 ISO file, and the files are exceptionally clean. And that is notorious. That is something that you're going to find with the Leica monochrome cameras, that by removing that color filter, you are able to kind of cheat the ISOs. You get kind of what seems to be more resolution. I have found that the files on this camera are incredibly clean, almost too clean. Even when you bump the ISO, they're just clean. There are certain things that I would recommend if you shoot this camera. Number one, shoot RAW and JPEG. Let the camera cook those JPEGs for you so that you don't have to edit all of the RAWs and you can just have fun. And I'm not suggesting that JPEGs are better. I'm definitely somebody who says you must shoot RAW or at least capture the RAW. But let's see what the camera does. See how the camera processes the JPEGs. Maybe they have a little bit more spice or flavor, or maybe it's a good starting point for your own editing. The other thing I would also say is that because it's black and white and it does an evaluative reading, I would also recommend setting this to do spot metering. And you might even want to dial the EV down, maybe 1/3 or 2/3 of a stop, okay? Because the way it's going to read light, it's going to take too many things into account and give you kind of a flat image. And I personally prefer a punchier black and white image. So if you want to try to get those punchier black and whites off the bat, spot metering and maybe dropping the EV 1/3 or 2/3 of a stop. It is weather sealed. I went out and I shot in the rain. I didn't really have to worry about it. Now granted, I'm not going to go out in a freaking hurricane or stick it in a puddle, but I can go out in bad weather and I don't have to be stressed about it. It's got the same button layout, the same battery, so I'm in the same ecosystem that I am with the SL system, and maybe a Q2 if I have one of those, which I don't. But it is nice that the whole Leica ecosystem is kind of one thing. It does shoot video. It doesn't have any ports. There's no HDMI, USB, there's not even a USB. There's no HDMI out, there's no microphone input, there's no headphone output. So you're basically relying on the stereo microphones that are on here. Here is some video that I shot with the Q2M, and honestly, I have to say, I really like the look of it. It looks pretty cool, nice and contrasty. I like the focus, I like the separation. I am at 28mm using f1.7, and you can see my background totally blown out. I'm like totally nice in focus. Camera's doing a pretty nice job using face detect autofocus. So overall, pretty damn cool. And you're also listening to the audio that's coming off of the stereo microphone that's just built onto the camera because I don't have any other option for capturing my audio. All right, back to the video. I did notice in the JPEG settings, there's a bunch of like sepia and stuff like that. I didn't play with that stuff, but if you want, again, you know, you can shoot raw in JPEG and then set the JPEGs to kind of give your JPEGs a certain flavor. I love the Qs. I think a Q is like the best gateway into the Leica system. If you're thinking about getting into the Leica system and you're curious about the color science and you're curious about kind of the lenses and the micro contrast and all the other BS, well, this is a great gateway. Now, am I suggesting that you go out and buy the Q2 Monochrom? Well, this is definitely a specialty camera. This is definitely going to take a certain type of buyer. Do I like shooting at 28 millimeters? That's another thing. I'm not really a 28 millimeter shooter guy. I did shoot some portraits with it. You know, it definitely is a look. Do I love the look of a 28 millimeter or wide portrait? Sometimes, yeah, why not? It's not my go-to as far as portraits. I think that this is much more suited for capturing scenes or landscapes. If you're somebody who does landscapes or architectural and loves shooting black and white, again, this camera is going to be really fantastic. With the touchscreen, being able to manage all the controls on the back, being able to pinch and zoom, you know, and this fantastic EVF, it really is a versatile camera. Does not have a flip screen or a tilt screen. Again, some of you are going to gripe about that. But remember, you're in the Leica ecosystem. They make these choices for a reason. So, there you go, guys. I really enjoyed this camera. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And we'll see you soon.